For the best listening experience, please download our sprlivefm.com app from either the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. You will not only experience our radio, but SPR, TV, and live chat.
As we said, we have an interview with this young man that I met, I think it's last Thanksgiving. Am I right with that one? Last Thanksgiving is
Yes.
correct? Yeah, last
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. In order for us to make sure that we don't mispronounce his name, he said, listen, you can call me Zenith. So welcome to the Praise Life Morning Show, Zenith. Thank you so much for taking our invitation to be here with us today.
Yeah, fine. So it's a name that comes from a country called Myanmar.
Mhm.
It's the language of it. Yep.
Okay, and what language you guys speak there, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, we speak Burmese over there.
Burmese?
Burmese. Yeah.
Burmese, yes. And well, we met at the Thanksgiving dinner and we sat down, we had a conversation, and I'll be very honest with you. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this young man because he told me that he believes in philosophy, right? And I said to the Lord, you're gonna have to show me how to speak to him because I do not want to be out of place in what I share. And I know people, especially young people, can tend to be quite strong in their belief. But what I found out about Zenith was the fact that he was searching and he was looking for answers, even in his philosophical belief and understanding. So, tell us a little bit about your journey. Because you told me a story about when you were a child, what caused you to even be stronger in your belief. Tell me about that.
Well, ever since I was a child, I've experienced some witchcraft growing up, and also, so I feel like there is a spiritual realm that resides in this world. So like I've always been open-minded, even though most of us younger generation would grow up believing that there is no God or be an atheist. So there is an element to my searching. So it helps me navigate through and be open-minded with different types of experiences from people or philosophies or even different religion, even though I was raised as a rational Buddhist.
Mm-hmm. And then you left Myanmar and you came here for what purpose?
Um, I came here to study and also to avoid the conscription
Mm-hmm.
because there is a civil war that is happening back in my country.
Oh, really? There is a civil
Yep,
war right now.
yep,
Yeah.
right now.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's interesting that we here in North America and probably other parts of the world don't even know that, or we have no idea how bad it may be. On a scale of 1 to 10, if you can really give me that, how bad you think that is?
From scale 1 to 10, for those that has remained back in the country, it's pretty horrible because the economic development, there is no improvement over the past 4 years, and the war has started like 4 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is no proper humanitarian support from any country as well, and it's just that the people in there are just fighting and revolutionizing against the military junta who wants to introduce socialism and just take control of the country and to enrich themselves.
Wow.
Yep.
And you came to Canada for those two reasons, to study and also to. Was it difficult in transition when you coming to Canada? It's a new life, new um, culture, so to speak.
The thing is that I've always been aware that growing up, even though I grew up in my home country, I felt like I did not belong. There is that element to it. So transitioning to here was much easier, mainly because I was well prepared and have knowledge of what's actually happening.
Okay. You did you make a choice to come to Canada, or they told you? Was this your choice coming to Canada because you could have gone to the States or England or somewhere else, some other European country?
Yep, it was my personal choice, and I believe that this place would be a great way for me to start my undergraduate study as well.
Hmm.
Maybe because it's a pretty good education system here, and people are warm and welcoming as well.
Did you? Okay, you said you made a choice, and you says warm and welcome in the educational system, uh, which means you probably had to do a little bit of research to see which country would better fit me, and you chose Canada.
Yep.
Right. So here's my thing. I'm gonna pre-jump it before we get into the fact. Would you say now, looking back, that God was orchestrating this all the while?
Yes, it has come across my mind, and it has been written in my testimony as well.
Yeah, that God is, because I want to look at it now. We had this conversation, you and I think I remember saying to you, "Hey," because someone who is a philosopher obviously is a critical thinker, and sometimes we just need that little push to say, "Hey, go there and try this and see what you think." And I remember us having this conversation about God and so forth. I want to believe I did say to you, listen, if you believe that there's a God, ask him to reveal himself. Right? That was a conversation we had, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And from that point, I all I did was pray and says, God, I don't know, it's, how do you tell someone? Because I've had conversations before with people who believe in philosophy and diverse things, and the pushback was hard. And I just don't like forcing people into believing something that they don't want to believe in. They must experience it for themselves. They must understand it for themselves and be able to know and feel and know who God is in their life. So tell me from that day what your journey was like.
So ever since the day you gave me this prayer, which is, God, I know you're there. Please reveal yourself to me. That's something that I just prayed daily, mainly because I want to observe if there is, you know, even if it's Old Testament God or New Testament God. I was just curious if there is an actual God in this world.
Mm.
And and a week or 2 weeks later, like there there has been events that people come into my life just to bring me more closer to Christianity. For example, one of my closest friends from my class, one Sunday, he was like, okay, let's go somewhere. And at the back of my mind, I already know that he's going to take me to the church.
Right.
And yeah,
Okay,
so
so
I
in the
just
back of your
followed
mind,
along.
you knew that, but did you say, "Man, I really don't feel like going to anybody's church right now. I want to stay home," or did you say, "Sure, let me go see what's happening"?
Yeah, I said like, yeah, why not? Like he did not tell me where we are going, but I
Mm.
just said yes and followed along, even though I
Okay.
know where he's going. I
Okay.
just wanted to observe how
Right.
it
Right.
looks like and
Right.
how it operates. Yep, I was very new to all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. So what else
Yeah.
happened?
So going there, there is a pastor that is from northeast India,
Mm-hmm.
which is like northwest India, which is right beside my country, and he preaches humbly with his book.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what book was that? And it's the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get to talk with him. He seems he is also very open-minded, and he listened to my side of point of view on this topic
Mm-hmm.
about Christianity, and we talk a bit more. And then for that when that times I was like, okay, why are these people worshiping this God without anything like any statues, or how normal
Right. Yes.
religions go, right?
Yes. 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 Yes.
It's
Yes.
just songs and preaching the word, and I was like, okay, that is pretty interesting. So that's the first experience I've had, and also arriving here, I had gone through so much financial issue
Mm-hmm.
that I and that also sort of allow me to put my humility down, like to lower my humility and just be more open-minded to what's gonna come next. And yeah, like somehow, some way, I got minor help from people, and I got a seasonal job by the end of that month, and I was pretty blessed that it helped me cover my my financial need for the past few months, which was pretty great. And then yeah, it's like, and there are also so many coincidences where I get to meet friends from, well, I asked help from a school advisor, and then she told me to contact church, or she told me that there is a person that she knows, and then she would tell him about me and about my situation, and then someone called Cyrus comes along, and then he was also a Christian from China,
Mm-hmm.
and surprisingly, we get to go to this free event where it's called Focus Dinner. It's at Stony Creek, where they not celebrate, where they invite international students and do potluck. So like Christians from here have like lots of food. They bring, how potlucks works, right? And
Right, right,
then
right.
yeah, and during that day, it was a pretty amazing experience for me, mainly because I wanted the Bible as well. I wanted to see, you know, like it's a holy book.
Yeah.
So and I researched from online that it was written by 66 different author,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Over the span of like 2,000 years
There's
or
actually 66 books, but one author wrote 5 books, which is the first 5 books of the Bible is Moses. But you'll get to
right.
find out all of that as you more you read and the more you study,
Yeah,
you'll get to find out what it is. But
yeah.
66 books, yeah, that's what it is.
Yep,
Correct.
66 books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was like, okay, and it's written by different authors across the millennium. So I was like, you know, I wanted it at the back of my mind. Well, there is like lots of PDF versions and applications for Bible, but it doesn't do the same holding a physical one and
Right.
using the digital one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
that day I went to that church, and during that dinner event I found a free Bible at the table that they put down, which is New International Version.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I instantly grabbed it, and Cyrus was there like explaining me how like trying to like he tries to explain how Bible works, and what gospel in there I should concentrate on, and he recommended me John, Matthew, Luke, the New Testament, the
Mm-hmm.
first four books. Yeah. And so that's how I get to know what to start off, even though I was more interested in the Old Testament God, mainly because you, Clement, like you introduced me to the Old Testament type of God, right? Like during that day.
Yeah.
And it was great because I had to know the origin first,
Yeah.
and that sort of mellows it. If
Mm-hmm.
not, if someone is like, like new to Christianity, and if you just go straight to the New Testament and Jesus part, they're like, he's also a human like us. Like how could it possibly be that way, right? Like
Right. Right. Right.
it's pretty hard for people to take in that God is three person,
Mm-hmm.
like three entity in one.
Right.
So yeah.
You know,
So
if the
oh
easy way to look at it, if I can explain this to you very quickly, um, do you believe that you have a body?
yep.
Do you believe that you have a soul?
So at that time
Yeah,
I did not that much, but now I do. Yeah.
right. But so at the time when I was speaking to you, you didn't believe that you had a soul and a spirit, did you?
I did believe there is a spirit, but
Uh,
the element of soul wasn't there.
okay. So you
Yep.
didn't believe there was a three part because I didn't know that. You didn't believe there was a three
Yep.
part. Okay. So the Old Testament God is still the New Testament God. What really it is the Old Testament God came into flesh so that man himself can have the interaction with God Himself. So, and I understand what you meant. You were interested, but the thing is, if you are reading now uh, the New Testament and read the Old Testament together, you'll be able to cross-reference how it's what happened, what's happening, why the New Testament is, and from the beginning of the Old Testament, Genesis, also spoke of the New Testament, Jesus or Christ,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Because it talks about being crucified before the foundation of the world, and here it is, it actually happened. So that was the journey. So when you first really like it sink in, oh, I got it now. So I need to surrender my life to Christ in order to see what direction it is. What was that moment like
Yes.
for you?
That was like a month ago, like a month and a half ago,
Mm-hmm.
where I was just studying more about the Bible. Like ever since I started to have spiritual experiences with, like it's like minor coincidence, but
Mm-hmm.
it feels like God is speaking to me in a synchronicity way, like everything is synchronized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, and so I was like, okay, I have to do more. I have to learn more about the word and just, you know, just to make sure that I have attained enough knowledge and see where I'm going to. So like for like ever since I met you and I had some like pretty good like you know spiritual experiences, I just start diving into the word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like every day. I would actually prioritize studying the word over doing school study for the first semester somehow. And yeah, like the more I looked at it, the more I read and the more help I got from other people. There is this like very elderly from Stony Creek.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Ivan. One day he just suddenly popped up out of nowhere and he's like, "Do you want to meet me?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And he knows Cyrus, and he was praying about me from Cyrus, and then he felt that the time has come to meet me.
Mm-hmm.
So he showed up and he said like I needed a winter equipments, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then he was like, "Yep, I can get you some new boots." And then so like we went around like getting a new boots, and then we talked on the car, and then we had a coffee chat, and then he told me about his testimony and how he came to the Lord. He's
Mm-hmm.
also a native Canadian here as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, he only came to the Lord when he was 27,
Okay.
and he has his own full testimony, and then he shared me about it, and then afterwards, like he helped me do studies on books like Ephesians and so on,
Right. Right.
and 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 he also explained properly as someone who has been in that spiritual journey for like almost like 53 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He explains to me properly about Jesus and about the Bible, even though I'm doing studies on my own. His guiding like wisdom, like as a person, was very very helpful, and I felt like God put him in my life just so that my heart softened more and gets to know Jesus more. And yeah, and it's pretty amazing because the day afterward was the first snow in London, and there was lots of snow.
Oh no, London do get a lot of snow. They're the snow belt, what
Yep,
we call it. Yeah, they get a lot of
yep.
snow. Yeah.
It's like the first day it snowed. The next day, snows were everywhere, and it's a lot of snow.
Mm-hmm.
And people were saying like the snow from the past 4 years or 3 years just snowed at that day. So it was pretty amazing to
Yeah.
see because I got a winter boots and
Mm-hmm.
and 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 a toque right before that.
Nice, nice.
Yep.
See how God provides for you, because you know what's interesting is that sometimes you wonder, you may meet somebody else who you share Jesus with, and you tell them about Christ, and you tell them about what He's done for you, and you surrender your life to Christ, and you'll probably wonder if they will ever make that change. There's a scripture that says, and I don't remember exactly which book it is. It says, um, Paul plants, Apollos waters, but God is the one that gives the increase. Simply meaning this: I could plant a seed in your head, in the sense by telling you certain things. You go home now, think about it, and do whatever. And it takes the community of believers to come together to start sharing with you on different segments of your life. And God, in the meantime, is the one that is doing the increase and opening up your heart and softening your heart to understand what the word is, so that you can eventually say, the eureka moment, and then you surrender your life to God. I must say though, I am extremely happy for you. I'm excited. You probably don't see it, but that's okay. I'm excited. Look, when I first heard when you sent me the testimony, what? I said, we got to talk to you about this on air. My co-host who's normally with me, she's online listening right now. She's resting today. Faye T, she's from Albany, New York. She normally lives in New York, and she's normally here with me, because you would have met her too when I was sharing her the information to her about you. And I said, I just got this text that he has been baptized. I'm like, what? This is great news. I'm excited. We talk about this on our show every day, giving people the opportunity to surrender their life to Christ. And not only do we rejoice, but the angels in heaven also rejoices when a soul surrenders their life to Christ. And we are grateful and happy. Listen, man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your school to come and talk to us and give us your testimony about what God has done for you. Do you ever see yourself going back home to do ministry, to share Christ?
Maybe when I'm like much older and more strongly knowledgeable about the word, and I would, because it's part of being a Christian, right? And carrying out the Great Commission, and being able to see how the Lord works in people's life is also amazing and a blessing to see. And the ability to bless others through Christ is also something that is valuable.
Awesome. Listen, man, we want to thank you once again for spending the time with us, and looking forward to hearing some more stories. Of course, I know I'm going to hear it. I'm going to just feed the listeners the information. And again, you are listening to the Praise Life Morning Show right here on SPRLiveFM.com, Fun City Radio FM, Power Slam Radio, and Bay Hill News Network. And also, if you want to find out how I can see this interview again, go to our Streaming Praise Radio YouTube channel or Facebook, and you'll see this interview sitting right there, and you can go over it again. Zenith, thanks again for spending the time with us and sharing your testimony on the new life, new beginning. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome, Father Clement. Great to see you again as well.
Thank you. Blessings to you.
Yep.
For the best listening experience, please download our SPRLiveFM.com app from either the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. You will not only experience our radio, but SPR, TV, and live chat.